Hello, 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 everyone. This is VACAY-JAY. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Want to welcome everybody to the show. Welcome all my Vacay VIPs and everyone here watching on the replay. We want to thank you all for joining us today for season one, episode one of Grown Man Talk. And I got some specially selected, respectable brothers that we're going to talk today. We're going to have a live discussion. We're going to talk about some deep things today. So definitely tune in, get ready. If you're ready for the show, definitely drop those fire emojis. Let's get it going, fam. If you're ready, let me know. Let's go.
VACAY-JTV.
All right, all right. How we doing, family? How we doing, everybody? It is VACAY-JAY. I am your host today. This is season one, episode one of Grown Man Talk. And again, I have some specially selected, respectable brothers that did me an honor to be on this platform today. And we're going to talk, and I'm excited to have them on. This is like a long time coming. So I want to start with some introductions from the left to the right. We'll start with you, Ron. Please introduce yourself. Let the people know exactly who you are.
I'm Ron Johnson, and of course, you can find me on the Spot Real Talk with YouTube, IG, Facebook. We're all over the place. The Spot Real Talk. More professionally, my business is Clear Motion Studios. I'm a producer. I'm also into film. I've written several scripts. We've just completed two short films. I have a script that's about to be blown up right now. We're ready to shoot that, coming up shortly. So it's just been one thing after another. I've been extremely busy, but I could not miss this talk. You know, Jay, I think we talked about it earlier. This is something that's been, straight on my heart for quite a long time. And here you come with it. So, I had to be here. And as a fact, I said, I was here early, man. I couldn't wait.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. And again, I appreciate you coming through, brother, for real. Like, again, we've been watching you for a long time. You and the Spot Real ladies, definitely respect you. Thanks for coming through. All right, next up in the middle, who do we have?
What up, though, everybody? It's your boy Brillo coming live from Detroit. You can catch me on Brillo, the Big Review on YouTube, covering a lot of different shows. I want to say thank you, VACAY-JAY, for having me. It's an honor to be, on your show. You one of the big dogs who always showed me love. So a real genuine dude. I appreciate it. I'm just happy to be here.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here, bro. All right, last but not least.
Good evening, fellas. This is Jerry J Beans 912 Denard. I'm a trained audio engineer. I have my own studio. I actually have been building my own catalog for the last few years. Currently, I've been leaning into doing media. I had the opportunity to actually have my own channel on the platform. So I've been spending the better part of this year just getting content and making the network connections. We finally launched on Roku on the Redfin TV app. So you can find my content that I get while I'm out, doing the networking on the red carpets and the listening parties and different events here in Atlanta. You can find it on the app in the Android marketplace, or you can get the app on Roku. And you can also find it on the website, www.redfintv.com. But for the most part, I'm a producer that's leaning into helping other creatives understand how to be a business and a brand for themselves instead of looking for that handout. They want this 360 contract, they want this deal, but they don't know the beginning of what the business of music is. I took the time when I finished my audio degree at Full Sail and stayed and got the entertainment business master's. So everything I've done the last 4 years has been me implementing everything I learned along the way in school in real time. So I have a proven concept to any artist or other creatives that may need their business side, whether it be to get the book straight and get legitimately set up in a corporate structure, or if they just need someone to put them in the game as far as how to brand themselves, how to begin making themselves visible the right way, and take advantage of this new digital, commerce that we have, because it wasn't this before the pandemic. The pandemic's over now. Everyone has the opportunity to be able to eat. All they need is access to the internet. But I'm grateful to be here. I've been following Jay for a while. We met through Tika, that has the Ruthless Addicts Foundation, as well as Ruthless Addicts, the fan club, OGTP Ruthless. Yeah, really good people, really good people. But I'm glad to be here, and I'm stoked about the conversation because this prompted me to actually watch the show. I'm the type that I'll wait until everybody is over it and they don't move on to something else before I go back and started watching it for my own opinion. But yeah, I'm kind of hooked now. I've been kind of stuck on this since the opportunity came my way. I'm like, man, okay, yeah, this guy, I can believe this. I can believe this. But, but I thank you again. I really do appreciate the opportunity to come and sit down with other great minds. Thank you.
I'm thinking we probably had some technical difficulties. I see my man VACAY-Jay and slid up out of here.
Yeah, it looked like he
So I-
vacated.
right, you took a vacay, so I
All
guess we
right,
can
a
get
quick
on here.
little do 1, 2, things
Yeah,
happen. This
yeah,
digital age.
that's what it is. I mean, it's streamed out.
What happened on the
But
live?
yeah, like you, Jerry, man. I've been in the shy for a minute, I must say.
Mhm.
Uh, and after meeting and Lena Waithe, and I mean, when you talk about a producer, man, she's a hell of producer, director, and
Mhm.
I just seen it grow and grow and grow, and I think this season is probably so far one of the best. Uh,
I
you know,
like the progression I've seen because I watched what we were going to talk about, and then I doubled back and started getting the backstory on this. Like, man, this just remind me of like real stories from the hood. Like,
yeah, hey,
I know
it,
several people that have gone through some of these scenarios. It could be like carbon copy of their experience. But I mean, it just shows you how no matter where we at in this country, we all have the same levels that they allow us to reach in places where they keep us at. We got
exactly.
to come up out of that on our own because they're not going to do that, but keep perpetuating what we got going on now.
No matter what state you live in, if you come from the hood, you can relate to the shot.
Yeah.
I grew up in Southeast Washington, straight hood, and some of the experiences I've had are very similar to what we see there. Uh, I mean, really, man, it's just a hell of a show.
Yeah, I agree. I like the show. I really wasn't a fan at first, but it's starting to grow on me with this last season. But
Hmm.
that's just my personal preference. I could see the direction of the show. I could see what it is or what she wants it to be. But
Mhm.
I'm a type of person with my entertainment. I like more aggressive type entertainment.
Right.
So yeah, so but I do like I resonate with a few of the characters from the show, and my favorite character on the show is probably the character that everybody hates, which is Duda. I also like Emmett's dad. I like Emmett's dad. I saw a lot of growth in him,
Yeah.
so he's back.
Yeah.
I don't know what went down. My man Jerry went into Transformers and my whole thing shut down. But I know y'all held it down for your boy. I know y'all held it down for
Most
me. I
definitely.
appreciate y'all.
Oh
I
yeah.
Most
appreciate y'all. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but here we are. Here we are. They trying to stop the brothers. It ain't happening. It
You're
ain't
not.
happening. They
No.
can't stop us. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Well, I'm glad y'all held it down. Let's get right into it. Again, this grown man talk was inspired by the show The Shot. I'm sure y'all was talking about it,
Mhm.
and again, definitely inspired by Victor's character, who was talking to his partner and said that he wants to start with men's mental health, get that done first. Of course, they were like, "Well, what about everybody else?" And he said something real profound, which was if we don't take care of us first, then everybody else gonna be messed up, right? I'm paraphrasing, but you know what it is, right? So I wanted to talk about that meeting specifically. I wanted to use that meeting as a guide to our conversation today. And there was a couple of things that popped out to me within that meeting. So we're going to start off with the first thing that was pretty much said by Victor. And what I picked up from what he said was he was kind of feeling isolated from accomplishing what he was accomplishing, right? So, of course, he was Trig before he became Victor, right? He's now an assemblyman. He's an elected official. Now he's in a position. And, of course, Shad is like, listen, everybody's around you. But he's like, listen, they're just there for me to help better their lives. And I feel like I'm in a thankless position. Not that I want recognition, but he kind of does. He kind of does want recognition, right? Mm-hmm. So any one of you brothers can jump in. You know, have you ever been in a position where you've elevated, right? I'm sure we all have. We've elevated, you know, we're here with the fellas now, but we've elevated to another level where it's gotten us so busy that we kind of feel isolated. And we kind of feel out of touch with our people, and people are just around us to just kind of like feed off of us or use us for their advantage. You can start with any one of your brothers could jump in.
Well, go ahead, my brother.
I'm sorry, man, but yeah, I mean, when I look at it, when you're looking at growth, particularly growth in a brother, you know, like ourselves, growth is a form of dying. Because the old person had to die for you to get to that next level. And, you know, once you kill off that old person, that old, you know, dude that came with a lot of baggage, a lot of friends hanging on for whatever reason. And as you start to grow, you do feel isolated because you're in a whole new atmosphere. And you're in a territory that you've never been in before. And it's scary. Let's be honest. It's scary. And I think that's the biggest thing I got from Vic. Vic was just afraid of where he is because of his past, but not looking back. You know, we got to look forward and keep moving forward. And then it's not so scary anymore. And you start making, you know, other relationships that will, you know, help you move forward.
Absolutely. Anyone can jump in.
Definitely. So yeah, I was gonna say I resonated with that as well. It's like growing up in Detroit, I came up hard. So when I go back to the old neighborhood, some friends that I had, or you know, when I go back to the old neighborhood, I just don't. We're not into the same things. Like I got, you know, friends who I don't hang out with because if I have to, you know, have my head on a swivel while I'm with you, I don't know what you got going on. It's like I'm not on that right now. You know, I'm in a more positive space. So, you know, when I'm coming through, because my mom still stays in the same house. So, you know, when I'm going there and I'm, you know, of course I got to keep her safe, but you know, I can't chill with you. You know, I can't have a brew. It's more like a high and by thing. Sometimes I feel guilty and I know they feel like, oh, Brillo, you know, changed, and they're absolutely right. It's like I have changed. So, you know, I battle with that a lot. You know, like my wife, she got on me like 2 years ago for spending too much money, you know, sending it to a couple of my partners that was locked up, you know, things like that. So kind of trying to leave, keep that money in house and trying to balance that, because you know you never want to be like you forgot where you came from or things like that, but you want to elevate and you don't want to have anybody bring you down. Like I still got love, but that's what I kind of thought of with Victor and the feeling isolated, because I do sometimes feel isolated when I'm driving through there and I'm like, oh, I want to stop, I want to you know, hang out for a minute, but I don't know what they got going on, you know, so I got to keep it moving. And you know,
Gotcha. Jerry?
Yeah, that's one of those moments I think we all, if you have lived and actually lived your life, you come to that stage where you see the people that you thought was fiction start to fall away, or you start seeing different aspects of them that you didn't realize until after you elevated a bit and realized, your place in the thing. I went through it when I went back to school to Full Sail. As long as I was just self-employed and just was, I had quit school and I had quit this trade, but I was working, it was okay. But once I got my degree, I started getting some of the backhanded compliments, like, oh, that's like a perfect attendance award, some to belittle my achievement. And it made me realize, once I got to that level, I had outgrown those friends from when I didn't have an objective for myself. I don't blame them, but I just know, like you were saying, Rillo, I know I can't just go be hanging and rolling with them because they don't have the same perspective on life as I do, and look at the situation the same way. The way they locking folks up, I can't afford to just be riding with the wrong person just off of GP that we go way back. So yeah, folks to see you elevate, and it make them, it's like an activated jealousy in them, like you weren't supposed to reach your dream. But
Mm-hmm.
my
Right.
thing is, I always encourage others. Even when I was at my lowest, I was still encouraging folks to reach for their dreams.
Right. I'm
Right.
like,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of been through it, for the most part, I know Victor's going through it. I know all of us go through it. And that guilt sometimes is our worst detriment, right? Because it pulls us back into where we work so hard to get out of. And that's not to say anything bad about our brothers. We love our brothers. We want all of our brothers to elevate, right? But some of us grow faster and go higher than others at a different pace. Everybody goes at their own pace. So, being in a position like that, yeah, they say when you're successful, it's a lonely place to be. Because just like you said, Jerry, Brillo, Ron, like, man, uh, you're just not on that level anymore. You've elevated. You really elevated. I saw. It reminds me of the picture where the caterpillar is talking to the butterfly, and the caterpillar's like, "You've changed," and the butterfly's like, "We're supposed to.
Exactly.
We're supposed
yeah,
to."
facts.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Second thing that came out for me in the meeting was Marcus when he was talking about his new relationship and his family dynamic with Gemma, and how his daughter's not really feeling the whole new relationship because it was all about her, and now it's about her and this new girl.
Tierra.
There you go. So let's talk about that, like new relationships, family not really feeling it. How is that as a man? How does that pressure? How do you get through that situation? How do you work that out? Anybody can jump in.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because uh like when I first met my wife or whatever, it's like I met like because her family owned this little party store right in the hood. So I'll go in there, we talking to her people is there. I don't know if y'all people can tell, but a lot of people say I just look naturally mean. Like I keep a scowl. It might be a city, a Detroit thing, but like if I'm walking, I could be perfectly fine, and everybody would say I look mean. So everybody thought I was mean. Her cousins for some reason they didn't rock with me. It's like, but so nobody liked me for no reason at all, other than just me walking around. Like where I'm from, you don't walk around with just a smile on a smile on your face, just walking around like
Right.
So that kind of made me think of that. But so it was kind of they had to get to know me to know the type of person I was. But yeah, that kind of was an issue at first, because I was the type of person I'm like I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be with them. I don't
Right.
care. And one time I was dating this girl, and her dad tried to like intimidate me or whatever. And I was young, and I wasn't backing down. So that just reminded me of that with the thing with Jim and her
Hmm.
dad. But yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Ron, what you think?
Man, you're gonna get me killed because I gotta go back a minute with my wife and her family, man. I mean, I married a Jamaican woman,
Okay.
and my wife's a beautiful, beautiful person, and she has a lovely heart. But, um, geez, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna survive after this when she speaks. You know, her
Praying
dad,
for you.
her dad loved me, man.
Uh,
He saw the man that I am. He saw my potential. Her mom was stuck on the fact that she didn't marry a Jamaican man.
mm,
And so for the first 7 years of that relationship, man, I went through hell uh,
mm,
because, at my point, I was trying to prove who I am to her. And because I always said if I got married, I wanted my mother in law to be just like my mother. And this wasn't happening. And so, I had at the time, well, still have, I mean, I had 3 kids. They were young. And it got to a head, man. We were at a dinner, which I had cooked, and I was at the barbecue station, and outside it was in Atlanta, it was over 100 degrees, man, and I'm slaving over that grill.
yeah.
And when we started to eat, she gave props to my wife's sister's husband, who was
Whoa.
sitting there just drinking beer. He never lifted a finger.
Uh,
So that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So I got up from the table. I grabbed my kids. I went to the back. I started packing. I said to my wife, "You got 5 minutes.
mm,
Once I step out the door, I'm done. I'm gone, and the kids are with me."
wow.
And her mom's came in the room and was like, "What's the problem?" I said, "I don't have time to be fooling around with no grown folk. You know what the problem is. I'm
Mm,
not going to readdress it. I'm out." I said, "And let me also tell you something. I come from a long line of forget-me-nots. So when I walk out this door, it'd be like you never existed."
wow.
Well, she apologized, and I don't hold a grudge. If you come at me straight, then we're good.
Right.
So she came, she apologized. I mean, it was it at this point we're good. We're very, we are where we should have been day one.
Hmm.
But it's one of those things that men have to understand. I'm a man. I know who I am,
That's
and
right.
I'm not going to let you tear me down because of some, you know, half-hearted or, or part of ignorance. Uh,
Hmm.
I used to say, if you love Jamaica so much, why are you here? This is America. This is where I was born.
All right,
So,
Rhonda. Don't get in trouble, brother.
I'm already in trouble. So, I mean,
He doesn't down.
Ron going in. I'm trying to save you, Ron. It's all good.
look, I'm already in the doghouse, man. It's been now. It's just a question of how long. But
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, but I mean, we're all good now. I love her
Okay.
mom. She loves me, but it had to be proven, man. Just where it is.
That had to happen. Let me ask you this real quick. I don't mean to. I just want to.
Okay.
Do you think that could have happened sooner if you would have reacted? If you wouldn't have let some things slide, because I know some things slide over that 7 years. Do you
Oh, I
think
let
that?
a lot.
I know. Do you think
No,
that y'all could have had that developed that good relationship if you uh, asserted yourself earlier on, or
well, you
it
know
was
what?
just
I think what I was looking for, to be honest with you, I was, because I didn't want to make a bad situation worse. So I was
right?
kind of like waiting for my wife to kind of step in and
Mm.
kind of handle things.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of
then when I
itchy anyway. Your wife's mom, and you being
exactly
a man, you don't want to. That's a thin line right there. I
Yeah.
definitely.
extremely, extremely thin, and I know that their culture is that way. I mean, that is their culture, her nature. So, a lot I was just trying to forgive, because I'm a spiritual brother. So I was trying to forgive and not and then kind of let it roll off my back. But it got to that point where something had to be said. And unfortunately, with me, I can take a lot, and you don't know when I'm going to just let go. But when I let go, I'm done. You know,
Mm.
I'm done. I don't. It's
You remind me of me, brother. You remind
Hey,
me of me. Once I'm done, I'm done. You know, once I say God bless you, it's a wrap. Like,
it's a wrap.
God bless
It's
you,
over.
I'm out.
That you see the credits coming up. It's over.
See that's that producer talk. You see the credit produced by Ron, directed by Ron. Jerry, chime in, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, I guess I have a rather unique take on it because, see, I'm what you call a serial monogamous. So I easily fall into these long-term companionships, you know, span 5 years, 7 years, 9 years.
Yeah.
So I'm usually doing my part to make sure that my relationship, everything I have going, is at the level that I'm at as far as the positive movements, the investment toward the future, just thinking in the like direction. It don't have to be the same mind, but we both have to be looking to excel and elevate. What I find is when it comes time to get on the marriage thing, I'm just not. I don't. I'm not. It's not for me.
Mm.
You know, I came up, I was a child of divorce, and I watched my mom remarry a few times. I watched my dad remarry once, and then I just noticed the little innuendo things that, like, you're supposed to change who you are once you say I do. And that's just something I just refuse to, like they say, one plus one make two. I'm not giving up half of nothing to be whole with nobody. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's what traditional marriage is. So I've been leaning into the companionship side of it. But for me, I put that pressure on myself to handle my business and my relationship. At one point in my life, it was by any means necessary. As I progressed and elevated to now, you know, I know how to use my words. I actually have done the legwork in the studying to be able to sit back and analyze myself in situations and make sure I'm not being the problem in the relationship. Trying to, you know, push forward my alpha mentality in a sense. I had to learn to be more in the middle, so to speak. So I get everything with the kids part, mainly from being a child of divorce. Yeah, parents and kids have these relationships. You can't just throw kids in with anybody. And
Right.
from experience, I mean, I personally wouldn't be dating nobody if I was a single father, not permanent until my child is an adult because I want to raise them up a certain way. I don't want them to see me bringing in and out folks because even though my mom and dad remarried, I never saw them date. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
I didn't get that dynamic to be able to pull from until I became an adult and started dating myself. But yeah, I personally would have went with my child in that situation. I would have done what made my child comfortable. Simply because people change, but your children is gonna be forever.
That's true.
That's who you're gonna need when you get later in life.
That's a
So
good.
yeah,
That's a good segue, brother, because that leads me to the other thing that stood out to me, and I think everybody kind of felt with felt what Emmett was saying when he said this right here. Strong black man.
mm,
How can I be what I didn't see?
That was
Wow.
deep, man.
That is
Super
deep.
that was
deep.
a whole word.
Shout
That
out
was
to the
deep.
writers.
Five
Shout out
stars.
to like I think a lot of us kind of like connected with that in some way.
Me, definitely. I definitely
And
did.
yeah. Let's start off with you, Brillo. You know, how did that connect with you, brother?
So I'm just now getting back in a relationship with my father. Uh, I had he was an addict for a dope dealer. Started using the product. We all heard the story. Only
Mhm.
thing I knew about my dad is I look just like him. That's why they call me Brillo to this day. Walking through the neighborhood, what's up, little Brillo, little Brillo?
Mm,
So that resonated with me. I try to be that for my sons. Uh, I got two sons, so I had a lot of resentment for my dad for the longest, but we are just now forming a bond, a good relationship right now. Very similar to Emmett and his dad. But his dad, my dad wasn't around,
mm,
at all. I had the first time I seen him, since I was little was I was in 10th grade. That's when my grandma, his mom passed. I saw him at the funeral. The next time I saw him from 10th grade was when I got married.
Wow.
He popped up at my wedding. Didn't know he was coming. Don't even know how he found out. I didn't even know who he was. But from that day, we got it. We developing our relationship, and that's my guy. He, you know, he was addicted. He was doing bad, and of course, we talk about it, but I definitely resonated with that. I didn't see it. I was raised by my mom and grandma, and I had uncles and older cousins and people in the neighborhood who kept me on the, they wouldn't let me fumble, which I'm thankful for. When I tried to jump off the porch and do stupid stuff, they would say, "Nope, you're not doing it." So I had good OGs. I had real OGs, even though they were doing wrong, they would not let me falter. So I'm thankful for that. My older cousin taught me how to ride a bike. You know what I mean? Nobody at the football games, nobody at the basketball games, that type of stuff. And I was pretty good. If I don't say so myself. So it hurt me for the longest. I didn't even know why. I would just be angry. And then I was like, yeah, okay. And then when I had my sons, I got more angry. I'm like, how could you leave? You know what I'm saying? And I instant bond with my son, both of them, and I'm like, how could you? I got a little more angry when I had my kids, which is kind of weird, so to speak, but we working on it, and that's my guy still. That's why I used to hate when people called me Brillo. I hate it. Now I just, that's
you embraced it.
who
You
I
embraced it. Yep. And you're still in the healing process, which is definitely awesome. And again, I appreciate the transparency. Like for real. Like it takes a lot of guts to really express that and explain that. You know? Ron, Jerry, and either one of y'all could jump in.
I definitely can resonate with you, Brillo, because even though my daddy didn't have those situations going on, my daddy was a child support daddy. You know what I'm saying? That check every month was daddy. It was a chore to him to come get me and my sister for holidays, even just to spend time. He did it to the numbers. I got you for 2 weeks this summer. You get what I'm saying? But he never was interactive. But I can't say any of my mama family was. My mama was working. She had her own business she was running, so she couldn't be there. So I feel you on the going to the games. I was in the band. I played several instruments. I'd be getting all these awards and things. And I ain't have nobody there to celebrate me and my wins. I had to just, it's just a check on the list for the day. And then fast forward, like once I was an adult, my dad had a stroke. And he was like, "Yeah, y'all need to be taking care of me." I paid that child support. I'm like $235 a month for 2 kids, and now we supposed to take care of you. Needless to say, we didn't have a good relationship up until about going on 3 years ago when I had a heart attack. I had a heart attack, and it's like whatever was going on that I clearly felt since childhood, that was the angst between my mom and daddy, where they couldn't even just sit at the same table about me. Whatever it was, they put it to the side to come and find out what was going on with me. So I feel you on that rebuilding journey and re-getting it, relearning them and allowing them to learn you, because that's a very the word I want to use, that's a very fragile place to open up the folks that kind of left you holding the bag. When you done got so that tough skin where anything you can get through it because you ain't never had nobody to depend on, it's kind of hard to take the second gear and let them take lead. But yeah, I really felt that in it. As far as what we don't see is this: we don't have this conversations in our families. We don't have uncles and nephews, fathers and sons sitting and having frank conversations about real life. It's always regimented to a list of responsibilities that's delegated to you, a man. You know what I'm saying? You got a job. you taking care of your bills. You know what I'm saying? You respecting your mama, the basics. But we are so much more complex than that. It's our turn to, unpack. And this is what we need. I really, when I first saw it pop off in the episode, I was like, man, that's what's missing. That's the dynamic that's missing, specifically for black men. We don't have a safe space. We can't just, be vulnerable without thinking we're gonna get attacked for it. So yeah,
Mm,
I was really stoked after I realized what the content was about, and I was like, yeah, thank you, Jay. That's right in line where I want to go with my music and other productions to try to create a space for not just black men, for the black community to be able to have these conversations we need to have with each other.
yes,
Because until we have these conversations with each other, they're gonna keep finding ways to pick us apart.
It's real.
absolutely. Rod, you wanted to add anything, brother?
Yeah, I grew up with my dad. My dad was in the house. He was a quiet storm. He was a quiet soul, but you didn't want to get him angry, and you sometimes didn't even realize when he was up when he was, except when he just came out with it. But my mom was an alpha mom, so it was. I saw some tumultuous moments between the two of them, and a lot of it. My mother accused him of doing certain things, and as I got older and understood some of the hardships my mom had gone through, but likewise, I saw some of the hardships my dad grew up with. But as far as my father was a Marine. He used to box in the Marines, and he wanted to teach me boxing. And I thought I'd get into it, and got in the ring, got hit, and even though I won that fight, but after that, I told my dad, I said, "No, boxing ain't for me. I'm too pretty for boxing." And I'm like, let me get in. I got into martial arts, stayed in there until I was, in my mid-20s. But my dad he was always there. He always
Yeah,
took me there. He always, I remember on weekday mornings, before I went to school, he was the one fixing me breakfast. So, the things I saw with my dad, I wanted to emulate. My dad used to say, and I mentioned to you earlier, Jay, you know, um, when you gotta be someplace, early is on time is late, and late is too early for tomorrow. So I understood that,
yeah,
and but there were things in my father that were in my father. I made sure that didn't want to have in me with my kids, and
yeah,
just like the two of you on the panel, when Emmett said, "How can I be what I didn't see?" That's
yeah.
not really true, because
Mm,
the two of you were able to emerge from what you came from to be
mhm.
where you are today. And you might not have seen it, but in your heart, in your mind, you knew where you wanted to be. So I understood what Emmett said, and there is reality to what he said. But as black men, we have to come to the realization, I don't want to mimic the dirt that I came from.
Right.
So we got to elevate ourselves beyond that. So if my father was abusive to my mother, why would I want to be abusive to another woman? Because
Right.
I've seen what that can cause. If my father was abusive to me, why would I want to be abusive to my children? Because I know the pain and the suffering that comes from. So we have to understand, and it's a hard thing. I'm not saying that this is easy. I'm not saying it's one, two, three, but we have to think about what we're doing. We have to want to be different. And when you want that, I think you can elevate to that level. And so I'm happy to hear you brothers speak about your past and your past parents, but you're just the persons I'm talking about. The two of you are who I'm talking about. You elevated. And Jerry, I just have to say this to you, brother. You won't be a serial monogamous very long. You're gonna meet that one person that's gonna take. The whole point is finding somebody that understands the relationship between man and woman. Yeah, they're gonna have their say. They're gonna have their words. But my
Mhm.
wife takes care of me, and she makes certain that I want for nothing,
That's
and
real.
particularly when it comes to the necessities of life. So, when you find that person that wants to deal with you in that fashion, oh, it's a script, man. It's written. It's done. You might as well put a period. So, you know, yeah, I'm glad that we're having this discussion because it does allow us to be open minded and be very open and honest about where we are, who we are, and where we've been.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got to jump in there because y'all really getting transparent. So now I got to get transparent. I can't just be the host and not tell y'all about me. So yeah, my parents were married, and I can remember 3, 4 years old, living with my dad, living with my mom, walking behind my dad, and I used to just emulate how he would walk, and he had those feet that just go out this way, and he used to laugh and everything else like that, and once I was 7 years old, parents split, and of course, you feel as the child, you feel like it's your fault when it has nothing to do with you at all, and that pretty much ripped my whole heart apart. Because when you with your parents, it feels like you're whole. But once it's separated, we moved, I moved out with my mom, and my dad was only 10 blocks up in Harlem. He was only 10 blocks up, and we was on 135th, he's on 145th. But we always met together at the church. He was an active leader at the church. So he was always in my life. He would make sure, he would slide me a little 20 spot or whatever. I would spend it all on video games and stuff like that. So I had a great relationship with my dad. It's just, I wish that they didn't split apart. To this day,
right?
To this day, I'm just still kind of, shook up about that part. And now that he's gone for 10 years, as I look back, I wish I would have spent more time with him.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we would have had more time together. We didn't agree with everything. I'm the dreamer, right? My mom supported me on that. My dad was like, go to school, get the degree, do this, do that, And I ended up going to the bank and getting licenses. So he was like, all right, I'll take that. you good with that. I'm okay with that. But, I wish I just had more time.
That's real.
More time with my dad. I wish he was still living today. That's another story for another day. We'll talk about health. We'll talk about physical health at another time. But I can say to Brillo, to Jerry, like, this healing process is necessary. It's also, going with your point, Ron, being better than our dads is what they want.
Right.
Even if we didn't see them maneuver through life, they want us to be better. And in many different ways, Brillo, like, you're better. Way better. If you really think about it, like way better.
It's just kind of, I just know I could have really used that male influence because I put my mom through hell, man. Like,
yeah,
seriously. When it come a time where your mom can't,
yeah,
she couldn't, I want to say scare me, but it was like, okay, you cuss me out, you might give me a smack across the head.
Yeah.
And there's certain things I can't talk to my mom about. I wanted to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So, I had to teach myself a lot of stuff, man.
What comes to mind with that, what you saying that is something a brother said to me a long time ago. I think it was my uncle. He was like, much respect to your mom, but your mom can't teach you how to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
A man could teach you how to be a man. Your mom, your mom will nurture you and teach you a couple things, like, honestly, my mom showed me how to tie a tie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she could teach you a couple things, but as far as being a man, how to walk like a man, how to stand up straight and put your shoulders down, that part needs to come from a man. I had some uncles too. I had some, uncles that was in the street. And just like you, Brillo,
they let you jump
off the porch. Nope. You do music. This is what you do. You talented. You a DJ. That's what you do. You don't do what we do. When my uncles got locked up, they was kind of father figures to me. And that also ripped me apart again because it's like I'm looking to them as father figures. They got wrapped up 20 years. Who am I looking at now? So I was fortunate to have some, my dad still in the church and some church brothers who were like my uncles, play uncles. But that male figure, we always looking for it. I was looking to some fellas that I went to school with, and they were older, and I would kind of look to them to kind of try to see what I can pull from that, because they already had an established family. They had their mother and dad and all this and that. I would go over there, eat dinner, whatever the case is, and that's what I wanted, but I didn't have. It was just me and my mom. So I had to make do with what I had. You make do with, what they say, you play the cards as dealt.
Yeah.
And you make the best of it. And you guys, all of us, I think turned out pretty good. We're still here. We ain't locked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think we're doing all right. So let's get to the next subject. That was deep. And I appreciate y'all. Let's get to the next subject. This right here, family. Darnell said it. Superman. Society's expectation that we gotta be Superman all the time, especially as a black man, right? Like, talk to me. Like, anybody can jump in with this. Like,
well, I mean, look at it this way: from a historical standpoint, we were kings. We are Superman. We have to be. The world is on us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seldom liked by any other ethnicity, or race. We have a lot on our shoulders. We are expected, societal wise, we are expected to act as if we were in a different place, act as if slavery never happened, act as if we still don't have the effects of a history that shouldn't have been in the first place. And it still exists today. I mean, I get in my car and I have to, because of the type of car I drive, I have to, have my head on a swivel every time I see a police officer. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's thinking. And so you have to have, and then when we come home, we have to take that coat off. And then we have to put on that other coat that says, I'm the man, I'm the father, I'm the husband, I'm the provider, I'm whatever I am in that household. And this is on a daily basis, which is why it's so important. And I hope your ladies are listening. It's so important for a man to be able to have peace in his home, because he's not going to get it anyplace else. So when he comes home, there has to be a level of peace that can charge him. We're like a battery. You don't take your iPhone out and run with it for 3 or 4 days without plugging it in. Our plug-in is in our home. That's where it's got to be. So when I step in my house, there's got to be peace.
Amen. I look at it like this, man. Our skin is a threat, man. When people see me, it don't matter. Sometimes I wear the suit, to my job. It don't matter. I have a fear when I see the police. I always have to do the rundown of myself. I haven't been active in decades, and I still thinking, okay, I don't got nothing on me. I'm good. Like, it's like, do y'all have that same thing? Like when the police pull behind you, are you nervous? Like, absolutely. You got 2 birds in the car and a gun. I have nothing but a red.
Right.
I'm totally legit, but I'm nervous. Like, I have drugs on me, but I'm nervous. It's like we don't get a break. You gotta be Superman, man. Especially if you want to maneuver, you want to have nice things, like you said. You gotta look for the jack boys, the police. It's like the skin is a threat to everyone, even people that look like you. Yep. It's a threat. Like, it's like a weapon almost, and you said something that's very true, Ron. You said, when you come home, you do need that to be recharged, man. That's why it's important. It's important to have a good relationship with your significant other, or have an understanding. Really, like you said, finding the right person that can vibe with you.
Right.
My relationship with my wife is not perfect, but like you said, she take care of me. She know, I know, she, and I do. I get in my own head a lot. I'm not really a communicator. I'll be mad and I won't say nothing. Because I used to have a yelling problem, an anger problem. So I would just go inward. I'm not even gonna say nothing, in a lot of situations. But like VACAY said, and you said too, Ryan, when it done, like when it come out, and it's no telling what could happen when you explode. So got a lot of brothers walking around about to explode. You don't know the next thing that happens could be, and then it's no telling where things could go. It's I deal with that still to this day. You know, that just you got to release. You got to release it every day. You got to let it go. You can't turn into that balloon because when it pop, how many people sitting locked up just for something dumb that they didn't just did because they just exploded and did something stupid, So that definitely resonated with me. Yeah, this skin we have is definitely a threat to a lot of people. I wouldn't have it no other way though. I'm proud of my black skin, but
there you go.
It's definitely a threat.
Most definitely. I've been having to deal with that Superman complex thing since I became an adult. This is like my third time on a lock journey. But I clearly recall situations where the locks themselves just intimidate people. It was one thing here in the South, but it was very prevalent back in 2017. I was living in Nevada, out in Reno, and I had the spectrum. It went across the spectrum. I had a neighbor that would leave notes under my door saying I need to move out the complex because I make too much money and they don't make enough money. But my black need to move out because they can't afford to move out. They would call the police and had the police come into my door. I done been at the casino and hit, and rather than pay me out, had the girl call the police and say I was making a scene.
What?
Only to void the play. Anytime you don't collect, they say malfunction, void play. But I never experienced what it is to be that super until I went out west. Because it's one thing to deal with it here in Georgia or Florida or Carolina because we kind of used to them.
Yeah.
I was not prepared to be referred to as colored in 2017. That's why everything they said, nah, it's not new to me. I've been watching this Snowball Effect since that man was on his first campaign. I watched how he was getting very nasty toward me in the place where just shit like this here. They legalized everything and they took turns smelling my trees because they wanted to make sure they gave me a ticket because I was driving with the automatic daylights on and not the headlights. They gave me a ticket, put me on probation, and it said once it's time for me to leave because I was only going to be there like 12, 16 months, they would take it off after. So yeah, in this day and age as a black man, black period, but specifically a black man, you can't turn the wrong way without them just putting you in it. Even in traffic, the microaggressions. I mean, 6 years ago when I was telling people to look out for that stuff, they was like, I'm crazy. No, I'm not. I clearly see, like you said, Ron, they don't think you're supposed to have that car. Yeah. They will do everything to either mess it up or mess you up. I moved out of complexes because I had the folks, and this was in Lakeland, Florida. Man kept parking inside the space with me, swinging his door, putting dents in my business. The property managers wouldn't do nothing about it. I take the police report. Well, you don't have no video of it. We can't prove it was them. Stuff like that. Yeah, you really got to be a Superman to be successful. You got to keep it together. You got to have the family intact. You got to stay out of their way. And for my own person, I've been through working the job, having the top position, only to find out the one right over you taking your bonus. And man would send me to lunch with his wife just so she could show me her new full job she got off of my bonus.
Wow.
It'd be that petty. So yeah, you have to be strong. You got to be made out of lead. Kryptonite. You got to be Kryptonite.
The fact that you're not
in this world.
The fact that you're not.
I stopped working for people. I've been self-employed since 27. That was the last straw.
That dude blocking your car and scratching it up. The fact that you're not in jail for life.
That's what I'm saying. Like, man,
because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know. God didn't put that on my heart in my way.
Yeah.
I think He knows. I might not be here with you guys right now.
Man,
So
you never
It's a
know
hard
how
one to
it's gonna
swallow.
be.
Right.
You never
yeah,
know. You never know what it could escalate to.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Right.
was literally juggling that. I had like 6 more months before I was going to graduate, and I could just living in Florida. I've never been in trouble in Florida. I know what they'll do to me in Georgia, but
Mhm.
I just didn't want to take the chance that I get locked up on the humbug in Lakeland, Florida, and wind up having to, delay finishing school. That whole setback part that I walked past years before that. So it was like, yeah, be an adult about it, but I got my deposit back out of them and was out.
I
All it
feel
took was that one thing. Hey, they didn't run me. It's just I know me. It's one thing to be somewhere where you have folks that have the same perspective and the same aggressive approach when attacked in a manner like that. But I
Mhm.
didn't feel that in Lakeland. In Lakeland, it was more like a yes sir town. Even though it was older white folks, they was old and nasty.
Right.
So yeah, it was like, yeah, that was the wrong town. I probably should have been in Orlando or Tampa, but I wasn't supposed to move to Lakeland.
Mm. Yeah, we got to definitely be on point on all levels. I can relate to that because I used to work for a financial institution. Got this little, whatever you want to call it, hexagon is blue, Chase Bank. I worked for them for 7.5 years. I was the only brother in the branch in one of the richest counties in New York. So you already know I was dealing with the microaggression. I was dealing with the blatant aggression. I was dealing with all of that stuff. And when you are brown skinned in that world with old money and new money, let me tell you something. You got to be on point on all levels. People want to
right.
send out wires. You gotta dot your I's, cross your T's. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. But because we are Supermen, we always prevail. Now
Yeah.
I fired them. I fired them April 5th, 2013. I've been working for myself ever since. Has it been a struggle? Yeah. Has it been a hustle? Yeah. Has it been, the ups and downs of life? Yeah. Has it been, your lady looking at you like, are you crazy? Like you had a great job with benefits and you went out and listen, I'd rather take the chance to live my dream as opposed to be oppressed by a system that is set up to make us fail. That's
And
another set.
then if you would
Yeah.
have stayed, it's no telling what would have happened on that one particular day when somebody said something out the way to you. You like you,
Mhm.
you never
Yeah.
know.
Thank
You
God I
never
had an
know how
outlet.
you're gonna react.
Thank God I had an outlet. You see all these records behind me. Thank
Yeah.
God I had an outlet. And that's what I think you were talking about earlier, Brillo. Like brothers don't have an outlet. They let it swell up,
Mhm.
then they explode and black out. Once they
Mhm.
black out, that's why a
Anything.
lot of our brothers, you mentioned it, a lot of brothers are locked up because they blacked out. They didn't
They
have
good
nobody to
dudes,
talk to.
right? They blacked
Yeah.
out, like you said, held it in,
Yeah.
and the wrong place, wrong time, and
Yeah.
did something crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's why we got to have more sessions
Yeah.
like this, more brothers, more outlets for people to share, right? Okay. Listen, we this is great talk. This is great talk. I want to get right to it. Um, this one right here, Darnell said it. Another Darnell saying, "Be mindful of the company we keep. Be mindful of the company." Now, I want to combine that though. I want to combine that and get your thoughts on it. I want to combine that with this mentality amongst the brothers, our community, that is running rampant in our community. And it's been going on since forever. This one right here, the crab and the barrel mindset. So I want to talk about a combination of that, being mindful of the company we keep. And let's talk about that crabs in the barrel. Anybody can jump in.
You know
man.
what? Oh, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
As far, I want to start with the crabs in the barrel.
Okay.
That's something I think we all grew up on. That's one of those analogies that make you be aware of your surroundings, be aware of who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn that sometimes that barrel be your own home.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And be mindful of the company you keep. I have a younger brother. I'd give my life for him. I've always tried to, influence him to make the better choice. I ain't ever tell him you need the X, Y, and Z. I give him his options. And the further and further he's gone down this path on his own and made his mistakes, the more aggressively, negative he got toward me. Because while he's doing that, I've been hitting all of these goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to not keep company with my brother because of some of the things he'd do, just, in a desperate situation. And what I've built up into what I call my business, I'm not going to lose it because you trying to meet a gap, or you trying to pull some hood stuff and got me turned up in something I don't know about. That mindful of the company you keep, and crabs in the barrel from every stage, from my early 20s to my 30s. I've had to change my friend circle to fit the advances I made, because the folks I was real tight with in my 20s, we couldn't even sit at the table together now, other than just to be acquaintances, because they still doing the stuff I was doing when I was 20. They
Right.
still living that lifestyle. There's some that have great raised and got a little older, but a lot of them, I've had the situation like cousins when I stopped partying and couldn't drink like I used to after the heart attack. They kind of want to entice and don't want to accept the fact that I had to make a life change. I can't do that as much no more the way y'all do it. But I see the little soft jabs that maybe, oh, he can't drink. Ah, ha, ha, don't mess with him. Da 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 da. But it's like, yeah, that's that crab in the barrel, and be mindful of the people you keep. It be friends, foes. I tend to find you don't have foes. You have people that's jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Because if folks don't know you, they have no reason to be jealous of you. But it's usually somebody close to you that put it out there for them to be able to have something to be jealous about. Them
So let me
crabs in the
jump.
barrel.
Let me jump in real quick because I know we know what the crab in the barrel, but those who are watching may not know what we're talking about. So picture a barrel, audience, picture a barrel, and there's a whole bunch of crabs at the bottom. They're all trying to escape. They're all trying to get out, right? But there's one crab that actually gets up the barrel and is almost about to get out. But the crab in the bottom, the crabs or crab, grabs onto the leg and pulls it down. So it's an analogy to say that there are times that we are trying to get out of the barrel and we get close to getting out. We're elevating in our business, we're elevating in our jobs, we're elevating in our lives. And there are jealous people, as you mentioned, Jerry, in the home, on the street, school, the job. It's going to try to grab our leg and pull us back down so they can get up above us.
Let
All
me
right.
let me say this.
Yes, sir.
As a black people, we are $1 trillion industry. We represent 1/3 of the gross national product. Now, what do you think would happen if one day we, instead of being crabs in a barrel, we were like ants?
Mm,
A ladder. We work together. We build together. We work and shop in our own communities and give to each other. In one day, our economy would collapse.
mm,
So being crabs in a barrel is a societal um, um, point where this is where they want us to be. And to
mm,
give you an example, the dollar lasts for 8 days in the white community, where it only lasts one day in the black community.
mm,
So, and in my opinion, I don't even know why they're so afraid of reparations, because on average we give it back in the next day because we got
mm,
to buy things that we shouldn't have. Now, I'm not saying, one of the things, and part of that comes from a sense of wanting to be noticed, wanting, like for instance, Gucci has two lines. It has the lines for its white, affluent customers, and it has a line for the minorities and those of us who want to look Gucci. So
mm,
those, for that audience, everything's Gucci. It's got it on their purses, on their hats. Everything's blown up Gucci.
mm,
In the white community, where there is money, it's incognito. They don't have.
nope.
So once we understand our value and accept it, Because see, I don't have a problem lifting you up, even though I may not be at your level. If you need a push, I'm gonna push you to get higher. Hopefully, when you get there, you'll reach back and grab me.
Right.
But that's where our mindset needs to be. And we need to understand where we are financially. Because
Yes,
when we understand that we're 1/3 of the gross national product, you pull that back for one day and see what happened to this economy.
yes, sir.
Yeah, the whole what was the first one? Watch the company you keep.
Be
Of
mindful
course,
of the company you keep.
be
Yeah.
mindful of the company you keep. That's definitely a jewel. You got to be mindful of who you keep around you. That energy is real.
Yeah.
And as far as crabs in a barrel, just like he just said, it's just a mindset. It's systematic. It's like, why would I not want the next man to be successful if I'm confident enough in myself? I want to see you shine. I want it for you like I want it for me.
Exactly.
I just don't understand it. I want it for you just like I want it for me. If for example, if my man VACAY-Jay he just hit 10K. If he hit 30K next week, you think I'm gonna be over here jealous, mad, won't do a collab? I'm gonna be just as happy, damn near, if I hit 30K.
I'll
Same
be
thing
happy for you
for
too.
money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about confidence. People see you in that new car, they're salty because they're jealous. Okay, jealousy is a human emotion. I mean, I see somebody in a Bentley. Okay, damn, I want a Bentley, but it's not gonna make me hate on this man. It's gonna make me, why not try to collab and work with this dude or try to get to that point? If anything, it should serve as motivation. People just, I think, lack the confidence because he did it. You don't think you can do it. That should tell you that you can.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so I just think it's a confidence thing. Like Ron was saying, it's systematic. It's the whole mindset. And look, we can't give up, man. Sometimes stuff looks so daunting with our community and the way the direction is going and the mindset. So I think like, damn, I'm not gonna live to see it. But we gotta lay the groundwork, man. We cannot just sit here and say that's just how it is. No, like you said, we gotta become them ants.
Yep.
We cannot just say that's just the way it is and just give up. I think that's what happens. A lot of times people will be trying and trying and trying, and we'll get let down so much by the shenanigans and foolness from our own black community, the ignorance that we perpetuate every day, and then we'll just say, you know what, this country is how this country is. It's never gonna change. No, we cannot do that. We can't do it. We got to keep on trying to change that mindset. And I like that thing what you said about ants. We got to turn it to them ants, man. We got to. Or if we don't see it, we got to lay the groundwork, man. We got to be, or it's not gonna change.
Exactly.
Sometimes even myself, I look at it like I'm in the classroom, so I see the youth. I'm connecting with the youth daily, high school, or right at that age. And sometimes it's like you feel hopeless, man.
Yeah.
For the future, you feel hopeless. It's like what I got what a good 80 more in me if I get, you know, stay healthy. You know what I mean? So will we see it? Probably not. But we got to spark that flame. We can't just be hopeless. I admit myself, man, sometimes it feels hopeless as a community. Like it does. I don't know if I'm alone with that in that sense, but look at some of the stuff that's happening and that's been happening, and it's like, when are we ever gonna get it, man?
Well, let me say this, brother. A spark in a forest could start a huge forest fire. And what we got going on right now is a spark. And hopefully it'll burn just like a forest fire because it has to start someplace. And I can't think of a better place for it to start than where we are right now, talking about it and wanting to be about it. Because talk, man, don't mean nothing. But
That's right.
as long as we want to be about it, oh, we're going to get there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get there.
Real quick, I'm gonna step out of screen for 1 second. I actually have a great visual for the crabs in the bucket.
Okay. While you doing that, I'm just going to add on to the brothers. Brothers, great points. I think where it starts, and we're going to circle it right back, it starts with us, right? That jealousy and envy, it's all internal, spiritual, and it's internal. So, when you're dealing on that level, when you understand that it's really spiritual and it's internal and it's a sickness, it's an illness.
Mhm.
Once you understand it, then you know how to handle it and how to deal with it, how to maneuver away from it, how to get away from the energy you was talking about, Brillo. Trust me, I've been counted out more times than I can count on my hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've done was I take the energy, the negative energy, and I rechannel that into something positive. And what comes out is success. And they say the greatest revenge is success. Now, I'm not trying to seek revenge. But when you talk down about me, my family, my crew, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm going to take a different approach now. I could go back to the street level, but that's not where we need to be as a community.
Right.
I'm all about the unity. I've always been about the unity. I've always been about positivity, but negative is going to come your way. And also, I think we have to get to the point where we stop over expecting things from people because we're the type to give. We're the type to help. We're the type to assist.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we get to the point where we think it should come right back from that person. And when they don't give it back, when they don't give us back the same energy we gave them, then we're disappointed. Then we turn negative.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to get to the point where we just give and we share and we try to elevate without expecting anything from that person back. It's going to come back to us from a different way, a different corner, a different person. Another opportunity will come our way. But I think once we get to that point where we can actually give and be like, hey, you know what? You don't owe me nothing back, bro. I got you. You needed this information. You needed this blessing. Here's the blessing. Take it, bro. Do what you need to do with it. Feed your family. Elevate. And I'm not looking for a return back from you, bro. Like, you do your thing. I think if we get there, man, we'd be so powerful.
Man, I always say, if I give you money, I don't expect you to pay it back. That's on you. I don't chase money. And if I gave it to you, it's because you needed it. Now, if you don't pay me back, we still good. Because I didn't give it to you with the expectation that I'm going to get it back. Because I'm not going to give anything I can't afford to give. So if I give it to you, it's yours. Now, that's up to you whether you want to pay it back or not.
Right. Got you. You want to
So
show
I
something,
found
brother?
it.
You found it.
My brother did a piece, and it's called Crabs in a Barrel.
Let me pull that up.
Man, that'll be on somebody's album cover, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Funny you should say that. He's actually just moved to Nashville. He's leaning more into his singing career. He does a lot of live performances. He was in Jersey, I believe, but he was doing a lot of live performance, doing a lot of covers of 70s and 80s hits. But
That's
the
powerful.
the thing I love about it, he did the artwork. He has the piece, but he did postcards of them. But on the back, he has a listing of the different crabs in the barrel.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The hater crab,
I
the
need
well
that.
winner crab.
Man, we all
Yeah, he
need
got
that.
a whole list of them.
Yeah, we all
Yeah, Ro did the thing. Michael Dunham online.
Okay. We need that.
Can we find that online?
Guess what? Tap in with me on the email, and I'll make sure I'll send you guys a link to it.
Okay.
All right. Definitely, definitely.
Definitely.
Sir.
You
All
did a
right.
great piece with that. When you said that, it was like, yeah, I gotta show him bro peace because
That's dope.
it's the conversation.
That's fire.
It's
That is.
definitely the conversation.
So, fam, I got an actual question from one of our sisters. All right. Shout out to Tika Deshawn, All Things Ruthless. I asked her, I had the brothers on the show. What would you like to ask them? And the question that she has is this right here. Let me bring it up. What strategies or coping mechanisms do you find helpful in managing your mental health? I was like, that's a good question.
Good question. That's an excellent question. And
Yeah.
Men are built differently than women. Women, you're by nature, when there's a problem, you talk to each other, you work things out with each other. Men, we're built in a sense of solitude. We sometimes introvert. We go into ourselves, and we stay there for a moment until we can figure things out.
Yep.
Women have to allow that, first of all. Women have to, a lot of times it's always women wanting us to understand them, but they really got to understand us. I always say women have this super highway. They got 4 or 5 lanes in which they're just shooting back at each other. We got 1 lane in, 1 lane out. That's how we're built. And don't expect me to catch up with you on your super highway when I got 1 lane in and 1 lane out. You got to understand the speed of my lane because I already know yours. So I deal with it in the sense of if I have a trouble, first I go in my prayer closet and I'm gonna give it all to God. I go to my prayer closet and I pray once because I know He heard me. I am not going to beat my wife up. I'm not going to beat up my kids. I'm not going to do any of those crazy little simple things. I go in my closet, I pray once, and it's done. And then I go into myself and make certain that I'm at peace. Because when I come out, I'm good.
Oh yeah.
That's real. It just made me think of like when I'm going through them tough times and I'm a little down on myself. Like you would think like I could call one of my homeboys up and talk to him. My homeboy gonna tell me, Brillo, if you don't man up or strap your nuts on her. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We don't have those conversations. Like I know I don't. And these dudes I genuinely love. Like we're like my peoples. We don't have those type of conversations. So what I do is probably something that's not the most healthy. I eat it, internalize it. I don't really think I have an outlet, man. Honestly. And that's not good. It's not a good thing. I don't like it don't happen a lot, but it does happen when I don't know, I just get kind of down on myself. It's not counting not looking at the blessings that I have in my life and kind of like looking at what I don't have. And then I just think back and I think, like you said, I look at God and I think like, I am blessed. I got this, I got that. I got my sons, I got my family. I'm healthy. I'm actually doing something that I'm trying to make a difference. Something that's positive in my life, and I'm trying to make an impact. And I look through like different each year. I'm a teacher, so each year I look at I had the students write like at the end of the year write like something about me or how I can improve the class. So I kind of look back and I read some of the stuff that they write about me or something like that, and I count my blessings. I get into this funk where it's what I don't have and what I want. Like you said, it's coming back to that jealousy thing. What am I gonna do with that? Because so basically looking at what I don't have or what's going wrong and not concentrating on what's going right. So I guess I do have a coping mechanism. Yep. I try to look at the positive in my life, and it always overcomes the negative. So that's how I deal with it.
Well, for me, early on, I guess in my late 20s, I had some incidents happen, and I listened to what was being told to me by my family. It was the two, either go to the preacher or get a therapist or whatever. So I did both actually. I was disenfranchised in both because it was pretty much the same. If I can't confide in you what's going on and not hear it again, then like you, Ron, I might as well confide my heart and open my mind to the high one on my own time and dime, and just hold myself accountable. But therapy kind of it was traumatic because after hearing the very topics I discussed with the therapist being whispered within the different staff in the clinic, it was like I started having to take responsibility for my own actions.
Yep.
I started going over every aspect of where I felt I was a failure, the things that would make me down. And at one point, I was doing the self abuse thing. I did a lot of drinking and I would party. But then when that got to the point where that just wasn't it, I kind of had to start doing something different. So that's what kind of got me to doing self care. When I get to that point where I get like overwhelmed with the world and other people's problems, I'm most likely I'm locked up in here, whether it's playing with some beats or digging through some media or something, or even if it's just like I was saying about the show, catching up on something that was the hype that I just didn't watch because it was the hype. You know what I'm saying? Go back and do that and just, take over myself, my place, my moves. Because a lot of folks will have you thinking that it's you in a situation, and it's more that you're the available scapegoat for the
Mhm.
situation. Folks
Mm.
are dump their negative energy on you real fast with no back and forth. So after those two experiences, I realized you got to have healthy mechanisms you use when you get in those places. When I catch myself where I done went a few days without shaving, I'm not really answering the phone, and I have to be like, okay, why are you reserving yourself? Why are you going back into yourself? Then I go through the list of what am I not doing that I'm supposed to be doing to keep myself feeling appreciated from myself.
Mhm.
So I'm used to pouring it out to others and not having it for myself when I'm in those moments where I'm doubting myself or things ain't moving as fast as I think they should. I had to learn to just start, you know, taking care of me, doing, even if it's a lunch date on my own or just at home, TV, a book, something just not connected. I disconnect and try to build on what I have already.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
glad you mentioned like the drinking
I was
and
going to mention that,
I
and I
was
was going to
going,
relate
yeah,
to.
that was another
I was
thing.
going to keep it a buck, keep it 1,000. I think some of us. I'm not going to say all of us. I can't speak for everybody, but yeah, the drinking and the puff puff. That came into play. For me though, once it started to get to an unhealthy place, is when I had to say, nah, okay. I used to have this pen, right? It's called this the THC, right? It was just specifically THC. I don't know if we could say that or whatever. YouTube, I love y'all. But that's the substance in the plant that actually gets you to a higher level. So they
Absolutely.
extract it from the plant, put it into oil, boom. And I was in Georgia when I learned about it.
Yeah,
So,
that's dangerous because it's way too convenient. Look,
yeah.
I know
So,
that's way too convenient, bro.
bro, let me tell you something. This was presented to me. This was after a bad breakup and everything else like that. Cause I moved to Georgia. We supposed to start a family. Didn't happen. Had to send her back home. Shout out to her because we cool today. But somebody presented that to me and they say, listen, just take 2 pulls. Don't keep going. You know what I did? Kept
Kept
going.
going.
Kept going. And it started to, while I felt good, it started to affect my mind. I started getting real cloudy. It started getting, all about the fun, all about the ladies, all about, doing all of that. And once it became destructive, like God just stopped that pen from working. He just stopped it. I didn't drop it, nothing. It just stopped working. He was like, that's it. No more of that. And then, before that though, it was all about art. I used to be, I used to draw art. And I started to do graphic stuff. Started to do marketing stuff, right? We talked about that, Ron. Started to do a whole bunch of different things as far as the outlet. And then I started watching Power. And then I start recapping stuff on YouTube, right? Another outlet. As far as who I go to, I've been blessed to have some great friends, male and female. Not a lot of male, of course, because we don't really talk like that. Like you said, Brillo, we don't really have those conversations, but sometimes we do. And I got a brother that I've known since we was like young. We like cousins. But I got some good female friends too that I could actually talk about, just get the female perspective on certain things. And I've been blessed to have that. But for the most part, now I got y'all. Now I got the brothers that I can actually, lean on, and that's something that I wanted to just really talk about real quick. And then I'm trying to hold out. Listen, this is episode 1, and this is great. We need to have episode 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to keep going with this. But just one more thing that I wanted to point out that I think all of us kind of look for, and sometimes we're disappointed when we don't get it. And it's something that Emmett said. He said, I wish people would stop tearing me down when I fall and help me up. We all need support. So I want to get your take on that. I know, we talked about the mechanisms, how we cope, but how can now let's flip the script. How can, we be more supportive to our brothers as they're coming up, as they're trying to elevate, as they're going through hard times? What is our way that we can kind of be there for them, or be there for a young man who may be going through stuff with his family? What do you guys think about what you're doing to support the community?
Yeah, it's all about your approach, especially when I'm dealing with young men. It could go left, you can't be too aggressive. It's just being willing to help, and like you said, don't judge them off their mistakes. If they're trying to, if you can get them to listen to you, don't judge them by your mistakes, because look, any mistake that any young man has made, trust me, I have made numerous mistakes, and I'm blessed to even, like you said, be here today and not be in somebody's penitentiary or graveyard. Some of the dumb stuff that I have done in my life. So I can't judge anybody. So you just have to be open, because these young boys, they'll listen to you. It's just your approach. You can't talk at them. You got to talk to them. You got to be real with them. They got to resonate with you. They got to know, like, okay, this dude is for real. If you just talking to them, preaching to them, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna go one end and out of the other. I'm speaking for the youth. That's what I thought about when Emmett said that. I'm trying to reach that younger demographic, because, like I said, I feel like that's the future, of course. Yeah. So if you can talk to them, kind of relate to them, and like I said, just not judge them, even if some of the goofy, dumb stuff they do, it's just coming with non-judgment. I think if you judging somebody, like Emmett said, pick me up. If you want to just harp on the mistakes and not the solutions, then that's a problem. That's when they're gonna shut down on you. Right. Got to be more solution based.
And I like what you said, Brillo, earlier about what you ask your students to do at the end. You ask them to write something about you, how you can be more effective. See, that's being non-judgmental. That's allowing them to see you, and they really see you for that. You may not be aware of it, but they do. And in my area, it was AAU basketball. I would go out and film and do photographs and make a Facebook page and put their images up in the video, and man, these kids loved it. And so when they would see me, it was always Mr. Ron. And if it was a fight broke, I remember one dude. This dude was 6'10", man. He was all over the place. He didn't have a dad. But he had gotten into a thing at a game, and I just grabbed him, and I said, "What are you doing?" And I said, right now it's being recorded. It's being recorded in somebody's mind. It's on a video. It's somewhere. It's going to be on social media, and it's going to stay with you. And I didn't know what he was going to do, but he listened as if he were my child. And I realized that the weapon that I had in media
He trusted you.
was, and he trusted me because he would come to me and say, Mr. Ron, I love that picture you took of me, or you caught me in midair with this video, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do because I'm looking out for you. I said, because now you can make some, you can chop this up, take it anywhere you want to, and hopefully you'll make it. And he did. He made it to college because of it. So giving back is easy if we just understand what we're giving to, and that's the important thing. I don't do, like there were days I didn't want to go. To be honest with you, it'd be cold, rainy. I didn't want to show up, but I did, and I gave my time. I didn't ask for a dime, and the coaches loved it too, because I wasn't asking for anything. So, that's what it's about. Whatever mechanism we have, we use, and it's as simple as that. And the three of us, from what I have heard, and you too, Jay, we have a mechanism. We just need to use it, and I'm glad to see us using it. Just use what we have.
Absolutely. Want to add anything, Jerry?
I definitely feel the sentiment. We have to create that margin, that space for the young generation because we didn't have that. We came up with your feelings don't matter,
Mm-hmm.
suck it up. The job
Mm-hmm.
got to get done. But with more knowledge, we supposed to evolve. It's at this point the youth are developing emotional intelligence that it took us in the middle age to develop, but they're having it at an earlier age, and that's why they come across as so aggressive and so you know chaotic. But like you said, they need people to pour into them where they at. Everybody don't want to play football. Everybody don't want to be in the band. Everybody don't want to, be a cheerleader. Like, take for instance, my goal is to eventually offer a program to the youth in the area that are interested in music production. They want to learn how to work on a DAW. I love to see some more Pro Tools certified black youth making the music. Maybe we could change the dynamics of the music if the kids actually knew how to use the equipment.
Absolutely.
They actually knew how to do it from an industry standard point of view. I mean, I feel like through music and even this, getting the word out, showing them that it's another way. You can talk out your issues. You don't have to pull out a gun and fight. We came up, you had to pull these up and fight.
That's right.
They're gonna always be at a disadvantage with a Gen X older
Yeah.
because they gotta have a tool, but they gotta have more skills. I couldn't even get a license until I knew how to change the brakes, power steering fluid, starter, alternator. My granddad didn't play, but a lot of folks didn't have that type of, examples. A lot of times they just need someone to take interest in time in it.
Absolutely.
So my goal would be to meet them where they are and find out what their needs are, not their wants, their needs. A lot of times, what is going to be their blessing is discounted by the ones around them. I learned to play 5 different instruments, but for my family, it's not a job. They don't have it's no career behind that. You need a career. You need to be a doctor or a lawyer. So it kind of stunted me on the creative tip because after I got out of high school, I put the instruments away. It's like I'm no longer a child. No time for childish toys. And only till later in life, after when I was at a burnout place from doing construction and remodeling, the first thing came to mind was music, and that's what took me back to school to wind up getting my audio production because I had to find something that resonated with me. For the life of me, nobody wanted to meet me where I was at. It was like you need to do X, Y, and Z. Nobody wanted to hear my voice and what was best for me. And I feel like that's what a lot of the kids are up against right now. They don't have nobody that can give them the good and the bad of whatever their decisions are. You can't just punish them and tell them you're going to X, Y, Z without being able to break it down to them why. If you go this route, these are the options from there. If you have to make this for yourself, this degree not for me. I was brought up that diploma was like a requirement. You got to graduate high school. You got to go to college. everybody don't learn the same way. You
Right.
know, it's
Mhm.
about nurturing them where they are. These kids are so multi-talented. They have so much stuff going on from literally toddler ages. I got a second set of nieces and nephews, and they like 2 and 3. They can do things with my phone that I can't do. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying? So what I try to convince their parents to pour into that. I love to see more black children getting into STEM and things of that nature because we're going to need that for our community. We
Definitely.
can't possibly stand alone if we don't have all of the keys to the lock.
Amen.
Well
Amen.
said.
Definitely well said.
Mhm.
Well, brothers, I think we're gonna put a pin in that. A lot was said today. A lot of great points were made. Listen, I appreciate y'all for real. I want to thank y'all for definitely laying it down for this first episode. I think we need to do this again. There's way more questions. I got some other questions for some ladies too, but I can't get to it right now. But we're gonna get to it in the next episode. So I wanted to thank y'all brothers for coming on. Any shout outs, anything going on, what's happening with you next? Definitely want to hear, what's going on with you and definitely you can give your shout outs as well. We'll start with you, Ron.
Well, just look forward to our program. It'll be airing this Friday morning. Actually, we're doing a Power Book 4 Force during that interview, and also you want to check out The Shy Season 6, Chapter 5. Our recap from that. It's we got some interesting points, and we really lay it down. So look for those two things to hit on Friday morning AM. It's an embargo right now. We get the screeners, so we have to respect the embargo. So it'll be released Friday morning 1 a.m. So when you get up on Friday morning, check it out. That's the Spot Real Talk YouTube, and I think you'll like it. Also, we interviewed uh, Big Tank Thornton, who is producer of The
Yeah,
Shot, Power, uh, God, name the shows.
that was a great interview. Yeah.
So you need to check that out because this brother he's straight up. He's it. He's everything, man. So check it out.
All right. Brillo.
Hello. What's next for me? Of course, I'm gonna be doing my 1-2 about the power. I'm actually about to hop on the live right now and do a plug theory about raising Canaan.
Hmm.
Rock is coming back. VACAY-Jay know how I feel about
Yeah.
Raquel Thomas.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with it, and that's what's coming up. So just check me out if y'all get a chance. Brillo the Big Review on YouTube.
Absolutely.
All right. And Jerry.
Yeah, you can catch me at all of the red carpets and listen to parties that's popping off here in Atlanta. You can catch that feed on any social media platform at JB's912. Also, I'll be going live on TikTok pretty much almost every other day for the next week or so. There's so many events going on, and I'd love to bring all of you along to catch it. And, see the behind the scenes of the fashion and the fame of celebrity from the worker's perspective.
Sounds good.
All
Yeah, I
right.
can't wait
CC.
for the next conversation because this was
Yes.
definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, this was. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I didn't
Absolutely.
know I was gonna overshare. I didn't know I was gonna share that much, man.
Well, I
So
mean,
it
when
was
you
me.
feel
I guess I
comfortable,
needed to get it off my chest.
when you feel
Right?
comfortable with the fam, bro, your bros are here. So you feel comfortable, you're gonna open up, man. So you already know this is a safe space. This is a
Definitely.
safe space, and hopefully we're gonna touch people with what we share today. I want to thank y'all, brothers. What's going on for VACAY-Jay? Definitely look out for the what's next coming for the Shy. We're doing final predictions on Thursdays, so definitely check that out. Of course, we got Power Book 4 Force coming on Friday. So we're excited. Break that down. Talk about what's happening. I hear it's supposed to be real good. Ron, you said you got the embargo. You seen it. I know you can't really say much,
Man, say
but
much, man.
Give us a thumbs up or down.
I,
Right.
I heard,
Okay.
Okay, it's up.
I heard, I heard it's like OG, OG power. That's what I
Don't tell
heard.
me
So
that. I'm
Mm.
already
yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna
So
this is what I need.
we're
trust
gonna
me.
be in it.
You're gonna like it.
Okay,
I mean, first episode it starts out with a bang. So
okay.
just grab yourself something to drink, eat, Sit back and enjoy it.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, okay. And definitely look out for our current events as well. A lot going on. A lot going on, VACAY-JayTV. Again, I want to thank everybody for, carrying us over. Shout out to the existing subscribers and new subscribers. We hit 10K. We're gonna keep it going. And yeah, family, I appreciate you, brothers, man. Any shout outs though? Any shout outs y'all want to shout? Spot Real, you want to shout anybody I could shout out? Your sons, your daughters, whoever.
Of course, let me start with my wife, my three kids, my daughter Courtney, my oldest son Corin, and my youngest Cortland, and also the ladies on the Spot Real Talk, Tiffany and Tiara. What's up? What's up?
All right.
I'll give a shout out to Tika, Deshawn, Ruthless Addicts for recommending me, and I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity, Jay. And another shout out to my partner at Redfin TV app. Y'all check us out. Come and see what we putting on for us.
Just give a shout out to the TVC. That's a television commission group of creators. So we all work together. So shout out to my people.
All right. And shout out to the VACAY fan. You already know. Again, this is Aaron on the VACAY VIP side, and then we're going to release it to the public, so everybody's going to be able to see it. Make sure you join the channel. Absolutely, make sure you subscribe and follow each and every one of these brothers right here. They're great brothers. They're doing a lot of work, and absolutely got some great content as well. So make sure you follow them. Make sure you subscribe to the channels. Make sure you support. That's what we're here to do. Support each other, elevate each other. Again, I appreciate it. On behalf of the brothers, I'm VACAY-Jay. Until next time, salute.
Right.